Talking about money might not be the most romantic topic to chat about with your new spouse, but it is one of the leading causes of arguments, conflict, or even divorce amongst new couples. I know I'm starting out negative, but I'm trying to emphasize the importance of the money talk with your husband or wife because not only are you merging hearts, but you're merging finances too. Can't believe I said that. Edit this out. I script differently than how I talk. I'll edit that out. I'm going to list my top financial tips for newlyweds, but before we get started, I've also made a free ebook breaking down Canadian finance for beginners. I'll leave a link if you want to sign up for some freebies. I'm going to make some assumptions in this video. I'm assuming you each truthfully know how much each other makes. I'm saying truthfully because I know males like to lie about how much they make, how much debt you have going in, and what your credit score is. You know what? Lastly, I'm assuming you know how to responsibly use credit and credit cards. Otherwise, this video is not for you. You're not ready to talk about finances yet. First up, get your finances organized. This involves knowing what your financial situation is. Even if you were already living together, like as boyfriend and girlfriend, that doesn't feel as permanent to me, at least until you're married. So let's decide on a few things. Who will pay which bills? How will they be paid? Where will they be filed? Do you even keep a file of your past bills? You want to make sure everyone knows their role or tasks because you never want to get hit. You never want a hit to your credit score with a missed payment or even extra fees due to late payments like penalties or interest. Next up is setting realistic financial goals. When do we want to retire? Are we saving towards that? Do we want to buy a bigger house or are we fine with where we live now? Failing to plan is planning to fail. I said realistic goals because let's say you decide to have kids, because that changes everything. How much is childcare downtown Toronto? It's like $2,500 per month per kid. So is one spouse going to stay home with the kid permanently? Do you even have enough income to manage that? If you both decide to work and pay childcare, do you make enough after tax to work and pay for childcare for it to even be worth it? Then what happens when you have 2 kids or 3 kids? How do the numbers work out then? Now, to help get you to those financial goals and that finish line is budgeting. You have to budget, you have to sit down as a couple or a throuple, and you have to decide where your money goes. I don't care if you're afraid to go through this because you don't want your spouse to see your expenses. That's a bad sign and that's a red flag to me. How are you going to share a house and share kids, but you don't want to share what you've been spending on? You should be doing a budget monthly to ensure you stick to it. Doing a budget monthly sounds like it's too frequent and it's a lot of work. It kind of is, but doing it annually is actually way too late. You won't even know where your money went until a year later, and you won't be able to course correct until you do that once a year budget. So my recommendation, either get an app that auto tracks your budget or auto tracks your expenses, or sit down and do a basic Excel to see where all your money goes and if you can make any adjustments. Living within a budget reduces stress and reduces money anxiety. The next one you should already have. You've been probably hearing me say this 100 times, but I'm going to say it again. You need a 3 to 6 month emergency fund sitting in a high yield savings account. This should be 6 months of all your expenses in case something goes wrong. As a couple, if you don't have this yet, your first priority should be setting up an emergency fund in case one or both of you get laid off. I know that's worst case scenario, but during a recession like the one in 2008, the financial crisis, I'm sure many families were left without a breadwinner, which is scary. Next up, tackle debt as a team. If one or both of you bring debt into the marriage, you have to tackle it and pay it off together. You also keep in mind, don't antagonize the other person or put the other person down if they had student debt or credit card debt. It's your debt now as a couple, as a team, and you have to figure out a way to pay it off together. I would focus on the high interest debt first, like payday loans. Hopefully you don't have any of those, or credit cards. You should probably leave line of credit and student loans until later, since those are usually, from what I've seen, under 10%. Separate or joint accounts, to merge or not to merge, that is the question. There is no one size fits all answer, but in my opinion, joint accounts indicate more trust and more security. I'm not hiding my bad spending habits from you. Here's access to everything. And also, I don't plan on leaving you, so let's join bank accounts. I'm here to stay. There's also an issue of the death of your partner. This might be too early to consider. But without joint bank accounts, the surviving spouse must go through the probate process before getting granted access to their dead spouse's funds and accounts. When your spouse passes away, you don't automatically get access to all their funds and their accounts. The process could take months. One item I should mention, this doesn't apply to everyone, but what happens when family needs money? This is such a touchy subject. If your in-laws are in a tough spot, do you help them out? If your in-laws don't have a retirement, do they move in with you? Do you give them money? Do you have enough money to put them in a nursing home? These are huge pain points. I'm seeing this with my friends right now go through this. Their in-laws blew all their money, nothing for retirement, and now they're relying on their kids to fund their lifestyle. It's such a touchy subject. Like, now I have to forego my retirement, my vacation, my savings because your parents need money. I know we can't just leave them on the street, but that is a big issue, and money issues create a lot of problems. What happens when the parents need help and all of a sudden we're run dry? Here's the thing. If you're a parent, one of your top priorities is to take care of yourself first financially. Take care of your finances first so your kids don't have to help out, or at least reduce their burden if they do have to help out. If you can't retire and need your kids' help, then they can't retire because either they gave you too much money and then their kids have to help them because they don't have enough to retire. So it's a never-ending cycle, generational debt and generational hardship. That's all for this video. This is a niche topic, hoping it does well. I'm thinking of doing a financial advice video for men on how to protect themselves in divorce or in marriage, and even for women as well. Something very short, like a 3 or 4 minute video, just on certain gender-related topics. Let me know if there's enough interest in that. Thanks for watching, and tune in to the next one.